Hello everyone, I am Vishal Rajput and in this video we are going to build a JavaScript game. While building this game, we are going to learn so many important concepts. Like we are going to understand what is callback function, what is setInterval, what is clearInterval, how to implement setTimeout and clearTimeout. We are also going to build use so many arrays method. So this video is a part of my front-end development essential course. If you haven't checked that out, do check that out. In that, if you see the playlist, I have covered complete HTML, CSS, Flexbox, grid, and complete JavaScript programming concept. I have covered functions, loops, conditional statement, and everything. And I have recently added a Google Keep clone. So if you want to check that out, do check that projects too. So today we are going to build this. So let me just give you a quick demo. So if I start this game, so I can pause this, and when I pause this, the game will be paused. And when I again click on this resume, so I hope you understand what we are going to build today. So let's get started. So today we are going to build whac-a-mole game. So what I have done till now, I have created 3 empty files, HTML, CSS and JavaScript file, and I have added our media here, 2 audio files and 1 image. So I will give the links of this whole source code and this media in my description, so you can check that out. So first of all, what we are going to do is, let me create a boilerplate, and in that boilerplate I will give my title will be whac-a-mole. And then what I'm gonna do is I will have my container, and inside my container, whenever I create a game, I just write everything in my container, and in that container I will have certain things. So what we have right now is, we will have 2 things. One is our main container, in that we have our title, our start new game, this button, and second container in which we have a grid of a 9 square, okay, where we will have our mole. Okay, so let me write a main, and in that main, sorry, not like that, this is CSS by the way. So main, and inside this main, what I have to do is, I will have my heading whac-a-mole, and then I will have my div, and inside that div I will have, let's say, 2 subheading, and that subheading should be some, I would say, some ID. So how to give ID? S2 hashtag score, and inside that I will say your score, and it's slash with 0. Okay, and then I will have again S2, and I will say time left. What is time left? How much time left? So I will say time left, and I will start with, like, I will give a 60 second. Okay, so starting at 60 second. Then we will have a 2 button. We will have 2 button, and let me give some ID. First is start new game, and here I will write start new game, and second I will have my button which is like pause or resume game. So I will say pause game. Okay, so here I will write pause. So now what I have done is, I have created this. So let me just do a go live here. Okay, so you see I have created this whac-a-mole, your score, time left, and this game. And when I click on this start new game, something will be happen, and when I click on pause, the game should be paused. Okay, so for that, what I am gonna do here is, and inside this grid I will have a 9 square. So how to write a 9 square? I will say 9 square class. So 9 square, and not like that, I will say inside this. So inside this I need my dot square, and in that dot square should have a 9. So how to get 9? I will say 9. So if you see that, I will get a class 9 square, but I want to give them some unique IDs. So how to give a unique ID? So for giving a unique ID, I will say let me give the ID this. Okay, so if you see, not writing this way, hashtag. So I am giving to everyone, I am giving ID hashtag 9 and dot 9. So if I write in this way, so you see I have created my grid, and inside this grid there is 9 squares, and whose ID is 1 to 9, and all of them have the same square. Okay, so I have created in this way. This is a very simple way to creating. Okay, so if you see right now it's not there. So let me just give a simple styling. So before giving a styling, what we have to do is we have to link our CSS file, link and style.css, and here we have to link our JavaScript files, script.source, our script.js. Just so now our almost our HTML files work is done. Let's go to our CSS. What is the first thing that we do in CSS? We first of all remove all the default settings, that is default margin, padding, we remove that. So how to remove? Just write margin 0, padding 0 and box sizing border box. So this is our, we are removing all the default, that is spacing was there. Now what we will do, we have my content, I have my container and I want that container should be minimum height of 100 VH and a width of 100 VW. Okay, and then I want my it to be a display flex, and that should be justify content column. That should be column. Okay, so now what I want is I want my main, and this main should have some I can say what it should be. It should also a display flex. Yes, it should also display flex. And let me just give a container a background color. So let me just give it something like this way, you see, or something like in this way. And if I save that, so you see this is your game, this button is something like that, this is the two buttons. Let me just fix this two. So how to fix? I will say flex direction is column. So if I do that column, so it's looking nice right now. Just I have to do something things. I will say width, and width let me give width 50 rem. Okay, and after this 50 rem, I will say I will give you some margin, and margin will be, let's say, 20 pixel and auto. And rather than doing this way, what I will say justify content. Sorry, it's not be justify content, it should be flex direction. It should be flex direction column, and here I need my justify content center. Okay, and not align item center, align items center. Okay, so if I done this thing, so I have to do the same thing here, align content center. So now what I have to do is let me just remove this thing stuff. So this looking like this. So what I have to do is, for now let me just make something like this only. Let me give some font size to my main heading, that is H1. So what will be my font size? Font size, let me give some 54 pixels, and then I will give it yeah, for now it's fine. Let me give some color white. Okay, so now I will have my main 2. In that main, I will have my headings too, that this your score and time left. So what I'm gonna do is I will say display inline block, so that they both should be in the same line. Then I am giving some background. Let's say, and I should give some padding. So now it look little bit fine, but I will change the color to somehow something like this, in this way, or in this way. I will change that thing. I will change the color. First of all, let me do a simple thing which will make it look it's nice. Okay, once it's look nice, I will, after making all the JavaScript file, I will do this designing again. So now this is thing. Now I have to give some color, and I am giving this white color only. So no, white is not fine. Let me just remove that color. So this is fine, looking fine. Now I have to give little margin. So let me give margin, and margin is 6 pixel is fine, I guess. 6 pixel is fine. Now I have to change these buttons. So for these two buttons, what I am gonna do is I will say button, and to this button, what I have to do is, first of all, I have to give some width. Let me say I am giving 6 rem, and or I can say 12 rem. Yeah, that's look fine. Now I give some padding. Okay, let's look fine. Now I have to give it a border radius, and that would be like 20 pixels somehow. Okay, that look fine. I have to remove this border none, and let me give some background. Background color is something like, for now we will change this. I will change certainly something like in this shade or in this shade. For now I will change it later. Okay, I will change it later. I will give some box shadow, and where I am giving black for now. I will give the shadow later. I will change all the colors later. First of all, just I am giving few things, and the only thing that I want to give that buttons to is that let me just make it into inside my div. Let me make this inside my div. So there is something like that, so that they both of them should be in the my same line. Okay, so now it's look like this. Just I have to give some margin, little bit margin. Let me give some margin. Margin is 6 pixels. Let's say 4. Let's say. So right now it's not look cool. The thing which I can make it cool is the main, which is my main. Here is my main. So I can here I can say my justify content is center, so that it look fine. Or I can say my text line center, so that it look fine. Yeah, it's look fine now. So what I have to do is when I click on this start game, so this something should be happen. So what I am saying is start new this. So I can say on button or hover, my cursor should be something pointer. The first thing that would look nice, no? So it's pointer. Okay, so for now it's look a little better. I will change all the design later on. So now what I have to do is I have to add my square. So I have a square, and let me give some width. Width is let's say 100 pixel, and height is 100 pixel, and some border. For now let me just give a black border, 1 pixel solid black, and then I have to give some margin. Let me say just I'm giving 10 for now. So okay, so this look like this. Okay, the only thing I have to do here is I need my grid. So I will say for my grid I will say make it flex. Once you make it flex, so this will be something like this. Now I have to say flex wrap, and I have to give the position wrap. So if I give wrap, so it's look like this. So what I can do here is let me just give certain width to it. Let me give certain width. Let's say 45 gram. Let's see how it's like that. If I give them 45, let me give it 54. Okay, so let's not give some rams to it. Rather than doing this, what I can do, let me improve this size. So I can say if I am making 150, is it look cool? I can make to 180 and 200. This width is 200, and let's make it this 180. Yeah, this look fine. Okay, just I have to give its container. What is the container? That should be the main height. Okay, that should be the main height, not the complete height. So now this white option will be gone. Now the only thing that I think that looks fine for now. Just I can reduce the height by a little bit, so that it's going into the same page. So let me just make it by 170, and that will be cool, I guess. So that now it's in the single page. The only thing is I can do here is let me make it 180, and this is like this we can do later on also. So for now this is our this. So now what I want to do is this should be in the center. So how to do this in center? I will say justify content center. Okay, so now for now I have created a very simple game. So not a game, the concept, the design also. So design is somehow is done. I will say box shadow, and I will give a little bit shadows to this also. Let me give a 3 pixel, 5 pixel, and the shadow will be let's say blue for now. Let me just change it. Just change this stuff. to settings to this ratio only. Okay, I will give the border also later on. So what I have done is this thing. So now what I have to do is to a random any mole. Let me just give a mole class to anyone. Let's say if I give a mole class here, mole class. So I have to give something special to my mole class. Okay, so dot mole. In that dot mole, I will say background, and I will give not a back. I will say background, and in that background, what I am gonna do is I will give the some image that are mole image. So how to use that mole image? I will say so where is the mole image? Not in a so I will come one more step back. Now assets, in assets this mole.png. So this dot means double dot means you go to back. So if I show you the file structure, so right now we are here. So from here style.ps we come one step back. So we are here. So file is not here. So we will go one step more back. So two dot, and then we go comes in this directory, and in this we have to enter in assets, and in assets this mode. Okay, so this is we use. So now this is our background. So if I do that, okay, so I have given I guess class. So if I give the mole class, I have to use this assets dot mole.png. Okay, so this is it. Now what I have to do is I have to make it my background size cover. So if I make my background size cover, so it look nice now. So what I can do here is to be very honest, I can give some padding, I guess, like 10 pixels somehow. No, it's not like it looks fine for now. Okay, it looks fine for now. So what I have to do is let me just remove the mole class from here, and I will give it through my JavaScript. So this is how my whack-a-mole is look like right now. What I'm gonna do is I have to let's just build the code and let's just build the logic, and after building the logic we are going to redesign this and making it super cool. We are also going to add an audio element so that it look like a real game. Okay, so first of all I need my score. So how to say document dot get id, and to get id, what is the id? I say score. Now I need my time left, but how much time is left? So I will say document dot get id, and what is the id I have given? I think I have given time left. Now after this time left, what I need this two button, start new button and pause. So I will say start new game button. Okay, I will say button. Then here I need a document dot get id, and what is the id I have given? I guess I have given start new game id. So from here I will just mark in this. So now let's I need a pause button, so I will say pause game button. So for this pause game button I will say, so here also I will write this scare scare h1. I like something like that only. Okay, scare h1, so that I would remember this. Okay, this is the h1, I guess this is the h2. Okay, so basically what I write is how I give this variable name so that it's make very clear is, so this means score is the id and h2 is the element, time left is the id, h2 is the element, start new game is the id, button is the element. So I remember this way only. So I write document dot get element by id, and I give the id post game, I guess post game. So let me just re-verify the whole things. Scare, time left, start new game and post game. So score, time left, start new game and post game. Yeah, that's the thing. So after that what I have to do here is I also need this grid, or you can say this is scarce. So how to get this scarce? I will say let scarce all these scarce. So how to get document dot query selector, we can use query selector all. I need all the scarce who have the class this scarce class. Okay, so all with scarce. So this will be our array scarce. So you have to write the correct id of class. If you do not write the correct id of class, then it will not keep. So in the query selector you have to write the query, that is dot scarce. Okay, so I hope this makes sense for now. So now what I am gonna do here is what I have to do is I will say that when you click on this start new game, but before clicking the start new game, you need a mole at the random anywhere. So what I can say, I have to create my function random mole. Okay, random mole or random position mole. So mole at random position, you can write any function name. Okay, it's up to you. So what I am gonna do here is I will say scarce dot for each. What is this for each? This for each will run for the all the element inside this. So I will say I will have a scare. Okay, I will have a scare for all scare. I am using this arrow function. If you do not understand about the arrow function and this, I would recommend you to watch my complete JavaScript video. And in this, in less than 90 minutes, I have covered everything about this. Okay, or loops and everything. So now scare. So what I want is for this scare, what I have want is basically first of all not using this for loop. Yeah, we have to use this. So what is this random mole will do? Random mole will check is there any scare who already have this mole class. If is there, then remove that. Otherwise, what will happen? I give this and again I will give this. So there can be multiple position who has the mole class. So first of all, I will remove. So how to remove? This is my scare, and this scare has some classes. So how to find all the classes? Using class list. So from this class list, if you have to add any class, you say add and that class. If you have to remove, so you can say remove that class. So I will say remove mole. Okay, so this mole class will be removed from all of this, and as soon as you remove from all of them, if there is somewhere mole class, now what you have to do is you have to find a random position. How to find a random position? I will say hit position. I will use this hit position variable, and what this hit position I will let you know later. So how to find a random position? Using a math.random. So what this math.random do? This math.random return a random value from 0 to 1, but not 1 included. So let me just show you here. Let me just open my console. So here in my console, if I write math.random, and if I do setting number, that again if I click, how many times I run this, it will never return a number 1, but it can return a 0. So the number will be in the 0 to 1. But if you see, this is in this range. So and my ID is integer. So if you want to make this into integer, so what I have to do is this random will give 0 to 1. So if I multiply with my 9, okay, 9 can be like, it can be have more than 9 scare also. So let me just make something like that. Scare dot length. Okay, so right now scare length is, we have 9 scare, so it will generate the number from 0 to 9. If I have 100 scare, then it will generate the number between 0 to 100. So this will 0 to 1 into 100. So 0 to 100. Okay, so this will generate the number between 0 to 100. But this number might be decimal. So what we have to do, we have to convert these numbers to our floor value. So we say math.floor. So now our number, we will have the range from 0 to 99. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. So if you see here also, so this is our hit ID, and we have created something like that also. So now what I am gonna do here is, I will say let hit, this let hit position is done. Now I will say scare and this position at hit position. This is my index. Okay, this will be my index. So I will say dot what you have to do. Let me just say what I have to want it. Basically dot class list and dot add. You have to add the mole class. Okay, so you have added the mole class. Now it's fine. Okay, so if you see, what I have to do is, if I call this function random mole, so it is here. If I reload this, then it's there. Reload this, reload. Okay, so I guess this function is work. This is done. So now what I have to do is, if I click on this start new game, then something should be happen. For that, what I am gonna do here is, I am going to create my, call my start new game button, and I have to add an event. So add event listener. If you click on this, then you have to do something. What you have to do? You have to call my start game. Okay. So I am going to now write this start game function. So let me just write a start game function. So function start game. So let me just comment down also what this function do. Randomly place my mode. Place my mole, or not my mole, it's mole. Okay, randomly place mole. Okay, now what this start new button is do? So let's see. I will have my function, and inside that function, what I want to do is, so I note something. So first of all, when the game is start, our score will be 0. So I need something for this score. So let me take let score is equals to 0. Okay, so let score is equals to 0. And I need one more thing, let time left or current time. Okay, time left equals to also 0. Then I got these two things. Okay, so for now let's just take these two things only. So when you start the game, sometimes must be happen, you pause the game and again start. For that, I will initialize the game score. So I will say score is equals to 0, and my time left. So I am giving 60 seconds. You can give any time, but you can ask the user also. Okay, so now just let me do this thing. So once you have done this, you have to call this random mode. Okay, but do you have to call this only one time, or after certain event? Like this should be calling, this should be placed continuously. Okay, as continuous interval. So now we are going to learn about what is callback function. So what is callback function? So callback functions are, if you do not understand what is function, do check that out my JavaScript video. Okay, so now let's understand callback function. So what is this callback function? Is a function who's getting called by another function. Okay, so let's say if I have my function here, I have my function. Sorry, let me give you a very example. So what I have is, I have my setInterval. Okay, so this is a function which call another function called, let's say, random mode. Okay, and random mode. So now what will happen is, this setInterval is calling another function. Okay, so this is called callback. And but this, do let me understand. Let me give you a very clear picture. So what the setInterval do is, it's gonna call random mode function. This will call this random mode function after every 1 second. So this is 1000 milliseconds. So this setInterval function will call random mode function after every 1000 millisecond, or you can say 1 second. So this random mode function is our callback function, because it's being executed once this function execution is done. Okay, so now let's understand here is, what we are doing is, if you see after 1 second, this function will always call. So I have to just click on this start new game now. So if I start new game, so you see this is getting different position after all my 1 second. I hope this makes sense. I hope you understand what is this setInterval do. So setInterval call a function. What this setInterval do? Let me just write. setInterval call function at regular interval. And what is that interval? You have written here. Okay, so now what I am gonna do is, so first of all, the thing is working fine. Now what I have to do is, if I click on this square, this is doing absolutely fine. If I click on this square, so something should be happen. And what should be happen? My score should be updated. And the second thing is, my countdown, this countdown should be decreases. Okay, so I have to make these two things. So let me just make this square thing. So what I have to do is, for all these squares, I have to add some event. So what I am gonna do here is, let's see, I will say squares for all these squares dot for each. For all के लिए I will use for each. For all squares, I will say square, or I will have my square, and I will say for this square, what you have to do is, I have this square, I have to add event listener. Event listener. So what I am saying is squares. This square is an array, node list of element, and now this square is my single square. So this is have 9 squares. So now for each square, you have to add an event. Which event you have to add is click event. Okay, so there is a difference between, let me explain what is click event and mouse down event. So mouse down event. So the click event is when you click on something, and then you press the button, and when you release the button, that is the whole click event. Okay, I hope you understand. When you press your mouse and that button is getting clicked, and when you release that, the whole event is known click. But what is this mouse down? The initial phase, as soon as just you click, okay, you don't even like put the mouse, your finger back, that is known as mouse down. Okay, so when you just click, so whenever you just mouse down, so I have to call a different function. So what I am gonna do here is, I will let me just write the arrow function here also. So if you mouse down, if you click on this, if you mouse over this square, so you have to do something. What you have to do? You have this ID, okay, and this button should have some ID. Okay, so the thing that I am missing here is this floor will give me the ID from 0 to 8. Okay, but my HTML element had the ID from 1 to 9. What I can write is, remove this and let's have one more, which ID 0, because this floor will give you ID from 0 to 9. Either I can do one more thing, I can use this cell, rather than this I can use this field, and this will give to 1 to 9. Okay, so let me for now just do a back. Okay, so this will give me 0 to ID, 0 to 8. So now my ID will be matched. Okay, this ID will be matched. So now what I am gonna do here is, I have to check. What I have to check is if I have clicked on this square. So I have this square ID. So how to find that ID? I will say square, and for this square ID, okay, we can find this square.id if that is equals to my hit position. Okay, but you see the hit position is here. So its scope is in the function. I have already explained what is this let and where, and this let have the functional block scope, okay, not the global scope. So I will remove it from here, and I will make my let hit position. What this hit position means, that where I have to hit, so this will store my ID. So I will say, if my square ID, if I click on this square and the mole is there, then I have to increase my answer. So I have to increase my score. So make this score. But okay, this is the only thing. But once you update your score, the only thing that you have to do is you have to update here also, na? So how to update? You will say score s2 dot inner HTML, okay, or you can say inner text also. Inner text, and what will be our text? Our text will be, I am using this string literal. I will say your score, and here you will write what is your score. Okay, so this is done. So now if I just let you know, so if I do a start new game, we haven't implemented the time left, but if I click on this, let me just click. Why it's not working? Just let me. Why it's not working? Just give me a second. I guess this math.random is something like this. It's here you have to do for all this. I have added the event. I think just I have to wait some here. Let me just do a control Z here, and let me just see now. Okay, so let me just see now. If I click on this, square is not updated. Let me just do a square to start new game, and if I click, it's not updating. Why it's not updating? Let's just do this inspect, and in the inspect I will go to my console, and I will say whenever this happen, the first thing that you have to do is the first thing that you have to do is you have to do console.log square id square dot id and hit position. Okay, so let me just find why it's not working. So if you see here is, if I click on this, let me first of all start my game. So this 9 to 2, it's saying 1 2. I didn't understand why it is. Okay, I got the idea. The error is happening because of this. So what I have to do is let me make my this is in somewhere like this. So let me just make control Z, and that's the thing is working fine. So what I have to do here is for my script file, let me make a random position, okay, and let me store what is my square is. So let me score, give me my square. I will say that is square at this position, okay, and this is floor. So I am finding this random position. So at this random position, what I have to do is I will say that random position, that is my square, random square. Okay, so instead of writing position, I can say random square, and random square should be have this position, and it's fine, working fine, I guess. And now I will say that random, not mole, that random square dot id, whatever the id is, this will be my hit position. Okay, so now it's, I guess it's working fine. What is this hit position? This is my hit position. So okay, so sometimes what happen is you just write a wrong name and this all getting very weird things. So now what I am gonna do here is if I click on this start new game, and I am going to writing this. If I update, so you see that it's updating. But the only thing that you see, if I click on again and again, if I click on this, okay, click on this, click on this, so at the same position I can click on multiple times. So how to resolve that problem? So for resolving that problem, what I am gonna do here is I will say once you have done this thing, once you have add the score, then make your hit position equals to null. Okay, so what will happen if it is at the position this, now the hit position will be changed. So again, if I start new game, and now if I click on the same button at the multiple time, now it will not update it. Okay, I am not equal to single time, man. Okay, so you see, if I try to click on multiple time, it's not updating. It's updating only one time only. So now what I have to do here is I have updated my scarce thing. Now what is remaining? In this, the remaining thing is my time left. So what I have to do is I have to do my time left. So I will say setInterval, I have to go my countdown, and I am going to create this. So let me just create my another function, that is countdown here. So I will say function countdown. So here what I have to write is I have to say this is my time left, that was initialized with 60. Okay, so now this time left should be minus. Time left should be minus. Okay, so once you are minus, so you have to show here. So I will say time left sq dot inner html equals to, what is this equal? That should equals to your, not your, that is time left. And what is the time left? Whatever the time left, I will say time left. I guess this worked fine. So if you see here is, as soon as you start the game, so this time is working. Now the only thing that can be possible, after 60 seconds, it will again minus. So in that case, what I have to do here is, I will say if after this, if my time left is equals to 0, in that case what I have to do is I have to stop. What I have to stop? I have to stop everything. Like I have to stop this random mole because this will not be work, and I have to stop this time. Okay, so what? How to stop this thing? So if you see this random mole is running at a certain interval. Okay, so this will return. This function will return a ID, a unique ID. So how to get this ID? So I will say let a timer ID and initialize with null, and let's say let what have a random mole ID. Okay, random mole ID, and that should also null. So this timer function is run at a certain interval, countdown function, and this random mode function is also run at certain interval. So what I have to do is, as soon as this time left is equals to 0, you see this time left become negative. Okay, so as soon as this time left becomes 0, I have to stop this interval. So how to stop? First of all, let's take the ID. So I will say timer ID equals to this, and random mole ID equals to this. So now to stop this interval, we have to use clearInterval. Okay, so let's start with clearInterval. In that clearInterval, I will write timer ID. Also, I will write clearInterval of random mole ID. So this, if you see now the game, let's start new game. So once you start, click on this, score update, score update, score update. If I click on multiple times, score is not updating. Okay, if I click on multiple times, the score is not updating. You see. So the thing is, I think the most of the things here is working, and this is pretty much for this. And like we have understand how this start new button works, and this how to start the game, how to like this add the event to all the scares, how this countdown works, this everything city things I have done. Now the only thing that's remaining for now is if I click on this pause, the game should be paused. So how it should be implemented? So first of all, let me just create an event. I will say pause game button, add event listener. For that, let me just write a click. So when you click on that, something should happen. What should happen? Your game should be paused, or it is already paused. Game should be resumed. I will say pause, resume, game. Okay. If it is pause, then resume. If it is resume, then pause. So I have to write the function for that also. So once I have run this start function, I will write this function. Okay. So how to write that? But before that, I will just structure this. So first of all, we are writing this random mode function, countdown function. Okay, and this is case. So this event, this is our event. So let me just write this here, so that all the events are at the same position. All the events are here. These are the three events for this case. This is start new, this pause. Okay, and all the function are here. First of all, random mode, countdown, start new game, and the final is pause game, pause and resume game. So now what I have to pause this? How to pause game? I know you guess this, right? So if my timer ID equals to null, what does it mean? It was null at the starting. It was null at the starting. Okay. It was null at the starting. So, or I can say what another case is, I will have this pause resume game button. Okay, so I will say this pause game button dot text content. Okay, text content. If that's equals to what? Pause. If that equals to pause, then you have to do something things. What you have to do is, if it say pause, so how to pause that? This interval is working. Okay, you have to clear this to interval. So how to clear this interval? You will say clear interval, timer ID and clear interval and say random ID. Okay, that's two things. So now once you have done this, the only thing is remaining is you have to make this timer and random IDs to null. Okay, you have to make this timer ID to null. Okay, and this random ID to null. Okay, so the thing is, now let's see how the game is working. So let me start the game. Game is starting. If I click that score is updating, score is updating. Okay, if I click on a pause, the game is paused, this is paused. Now if I click on again, and one more thing I can do here is, once you pause that game, make the text content change. So pause game button for text content, or you can see inner text, you can write anything. Okay, so text content should be resume. Okay, so now let's see. If I start this game by clicking on this, score is updating. Now if I pause this, it says resume. Now else what I have to do? If it is not pause, if it is resume, if I click on this, this should be started. This should be started. So how to start this? That's very simple. I would say that's very simple. How to start the game? You have to just write this. Okay, and once you write this, make sure you say this also. Just update this also. Sorry, just give me a second. So here I have to put this also, or not resume, it should be pause. So see how the game, I think I have completed the game, all the logic is done. The only thing that's remaining is add a music. So okay, so before adding the music, let's see. If I start new game, okay, game is starting. If I click, this is done. The score is updating fine, that's fine. If I click on this pause, game is paused. And if this game is paused, let me just click on this. I can click one time, but that should not be happen. Okay, so let me just do a refresh. I haven't clicked on this start new game. Okay, I haven't clicked. Let me just click. It's updated. How is this possible? Because this is happening because of this. We are once let me just go to this square ID. Yeah. So once you click on this, you mouse down on this, you are not checking is it our game is started or paused or something. So how to check this? It's very simple. I will say if my timer ID is null. Okay, if my timer ID is null, in that case what will happen? Timer ID is null, that means game is not started. So you have to do this when your timer ID is not null. Okay, when your timer ID is not null. So if I click on this start new game, so you see now you can click on this and getting a score. But when I click on this pause, our timer ID will be null. So if I click again, now it's not updating. That is the first thing. Now if I click on, before clicking this start new game, now right now my timer ID is also null. So if I click on this, okay, so this is something like this. For that what I have to do is, just see here is what I am doing here is, at the starting it's null. Yep, it's null. Yeah, is timer ID not equals to null? If it's not null, then do this thing. So if I reload this, so it's not null right now. Now timer ID is null, so this should not be updated. If I click on this, it say update. Why? So let me just do a console.log. Let me just do a console.log. Or just checking here. Just check on the pause button. I am doing this null now. If you pause that, I am doing it null. So let me just do timer ID. Before starting of the game, what is the timer ID? Go to this console. Score is 0. Game is not started. It's null. If it is null, then how is this score is updating? So let me just inside this. Let me just check score. Console.log score. Okay. So now this is here null, and this is not called. You see, this is null, but it is not called. Yeah, that's fine. I forget to save this thing. I just forget to save my file. It's working totally fine. Okay. So if you see here is, if I just save this, it's right now is here and it's not updated. Okay. So once you click on this start new, now my timer ID will change. It's some number because setInterval returns some unique number, and now this will be, you can do this thing. If you pause, this will keep me. I think now the complete game is done. The only thing that's remaining here is adding a audio. Once I am add this audio, then we will move to designing part, or if you want to design the part, so you can do it by your own. So the only thing I want to just show you right now how to add a audio. So there are two ways to add an audio. So the first way, adding the audio element here, okay, but I want to audio element here. So how to do? Using the JavaScript. Let's create. So I'm saying let game music. Okay, there will be some music. Once you play start on this start new game, the game music will be play. So I have creating a new audio element, and inside this audio element I have to write the source. So where is the source? That's outside my whac-a-mole game, outside my projects game, and inside my assets, and inside my assets, what is the file name? Let's see. The file name is gamemusic.mp3. gamemusic.mp3. So I have to write gamemusic.mp3. Okay, so let me just I have this. I need second game. If I hit on that mole, so I will say hit music. Okay, if I hit, then also I need one audio. So how this audio work? This audio will work on my assets. Okay, just see assets, and here assets. What is the file name? Let me just see here in the assets. The file name is hit music. Okay, so the file name is hit music. hitmusic.mp3. So how to play? Let me just play the game music first. So dot play. If I do this, so you see, if I click on this start new game, the song is playing. Okay, so this is playing. So now what I have to do here is this should be play, not right now. What you have to do is this should be play here. So once you start the game, play this music. Once you start the game, play this music. Once you pause the game, the music should be paused. So game music should be play once you start this, and this should be paused. I would say once you pause, you click on this, you clear the time ID, you game the pause. You should have to pause this music. So let me just pause, right? Pause. Okay, so this will be paused. The game music will be paused. Now the only thing that I have to read is if again you have to resume. So the game music should be play. Okay, so the game music should be play. I think I have done pretty much everything. If I start new game, the song is playing, and this song is playing. The only thing is if I hit on this, then certain more music should be played. So how to play that? So I have to hit this hit music. So when it should be played? When I click on this. So let me just go to my where is I'm checking for the gear. Where's the stuff, man? Where I'm adding this gear. Yeah. So here, once you update the score. So before updating the score, let's do certain things. So what you have to do is you will say hit music.play. Okay. Now what will happen? As soon as you play this music, if I click on this start new game, if I start this click, so it's both of songs are playing. So what I have to do is once this hit music is played, this should be stopped after 1 second, I can say. So how to stop this after 1 second? So today I'm going to teach you what is setInterval and setTimeout. So I have already teach you what is setInterval. When you have to call some function at certain interval of time. But when you have to call a certain function after certain time, only one time. But after certain time, not right now, but you have to call that after a certain time. So how to call that? So what I will say, hit music.play. After playing, what you have to do is you will say hit music.pause. Okay, but you do not want to pause this right now. You want to pause this after 1 second, let's say. So what I will do, I will say set timeout. So here I have to pass some function. So I will say this, something like this. Okay, so here in that function I am doing this stuff. Okay, and after this, what I have to do is this would be post after 1 second. After 1 second. So now what will happen here is everything is done. Now I have covered everything. If I click on this start new game, this song is playing. If I click on this, the song is playing and is stop after 1 second. So if I click, it's playing, stop. Okay, so I hope this everything is understand and very clear to you. I have explained everything and like we have done pretty much everything, but the only thing that's remaining is let's say what I can do here is let me just play the game. Start new game. Okay, the game is playing. It's happening here is okay. The thing is, if you see, just wait a second. Just wait a second. The thing is, I have to update these two things also. So let me just check you. If I pause this, it's not pausing because this is gaming is changed. So let me just do three things. So once you make this thing, you have to update your score also. So square s2 dot minus html should be your score. Your score should be let me initialize with 0. Initialize with 0 and score time left dot inner html is that should be my time left equals to 60. Okay, and what I can do here also is my time left is updated and this is updated. The only the one more thing that I have to do here is this pause button content. Okay, so I will say this pause resume button dot text or inner html should be pause. Okay, so now it will working. What happening is now if I start new game, so if I click on this, if I pause, it's resume. But if I start new game, so this bit should also, as I soon I click on start new game, this should again start will pause. Okay, so this is the thing that I want to tell you. There will be multiple more edge cases that you will discover later and later, and there are multiple more features that you can add by your own. So now what we are going to do here is the only thing that I want to do is once this time is done, so this grid will be gone. Okay, this grid should be gone and this should be in the center. I hope I make it clear. So let me first of all, the only thing I want to give is let me just pause. Let me just reload. So at the starting, what is this pause function is doing? This is doing nothing. So this is it. I would say this is it. So once before this game is starting, this button should not be visible. So at the starting, I will say at the end here inside this button, my pause button. I have given some ID pause game, I guess pause game. So display none. Okay, so this should not be visible. But when you click on start new game, then this should be visible. So I say that start new game. Where is this? The start new game and start game. Yeah. So when you do this, so then your this stuff. What is that stuff? Pause game dot this stuff dot style dot display should be inline block. It's an inline block, I guess. Okay, so you see what I have given this inline block or button, something like that, because I have given this. So if I click on a start new game, then this should be button will be there, otherwise this button will be not there. Okay, the last thing that I want to do here is when this time left is 0, when this time left equals to 0, then what you have to do is you have to make your this grid style null. Sorry, what is this grid? So let me just take this grid. Let here. So let grid dot grid dot document dot get id. It was in ID or class. Let me just check. Just a minute. That was a class. Get element by get class, and here you will say I will say grid, and inside the grid I need that first grid. So I need that one. So I will say grid. I get the grid. So I will say here grid dot display display, and that's to do question. Okay, so once I am saying this, so I have to say one more thing. Once you start the game, this game should be there. Okay, this should be there. Not none. What is that? It's a block. Okay, so let's check out all the things that I am writing. So once I start the game, not that was not a block, man. That was a flag. Sorry. To start the game, this button is on, this is on. So let's just wait for a 1 minute. And in that, once this time let's goes to 0, and this will come in the center. So now what you can do here is, the thing I have covered everything. Okay, so the thing is, you can make it a responsive design. Okay, so once I make something like this, or I can say this, so this will be responsive. Okay, this will be responsive. How to make a responsive using media query? I can do this too. Okay, just I have to write the to function. Just a median is great, but I would recommend you to do this stuff by yourself. So this will help you to make a better programmer. So let's just wait to become this timeless 0. Till then, what you can do is, if you are still watching this video, do like and subscribe to my channel. Do check out all the front end playlist that I have made, and HTML, CSS and everything. So yeah, that's the thing. Whac-a-mole game is done, and when you start new game, and that makes sense. I hope you like this video. If you like this, you understand and enjoy all videos, do hit the like and subscribe button. Do share it with your friends. And if you want to learn, want to become a better front-end developer and want to learn industry level things, then do check out my playlist. I'm going to add more and more new projects which will teach you each and every important concept that is important for industry, or when you are going to working as a full-time or an intern. So let me you in the next video. Till then, bye.